Hey Keveri fam, I'm Antonio Montes, co-founder of Keveri, and here I am today trying to show you this amazing recipe. This is a full brisket that we're gonna smoke for, I don't know, 10, 12 hours in the Keveri H1. I hope you really enjoyed this recipe because we are gonna also add a few Chilean and South American inspired side dishes that are gonna be so good. And well, of course, I'm Chilean, I'm not a brisket expert, but I have learned a few tricks, and I'm of course an expert using the Keveri H1. So I'm gonna do my best so you can learn how to do this. I hope you enjoyed the recipe. Stay tuned for more. Okay guys, first things first. We have to light the Keveri H1 in the low and slow mode, and it is extremely easy. First of all, let me tell you that we have a full masterclass free on YouTube, and we have an amazing owner's manual. So if you want to check any detail on that, it's going to be very, very detailed in any of those. Okay, so first thing is that we are going to do my recommendation to keep a very steady fire for a very long time, just like this kind of preparations, is to use the snake method. Okay, so we're going to place a row of 2 briquettes in the bottom that is gonna do like a C, and then you're gonna put 1 briquette on top, so it's gonna be like a extended pyramid, and then my pro tip, you can say, leave the corners a little lighter. So once you have reached like the complete C, remove a few briquettes from the corners. Why? Because you have a lot of charcoal that accumulates on those areas, and you don't want to generate like peaks in temperature when you're doing that. Okay, so that's the first like pro tip. Second, well, we're using oak here, and we're gonna add, of course, oak on top of the charcoal. Leave it until the middle, then you're gonna wrap. So it doesn't make any sense to make more smoke when you're wrapped. And well, you have, as I mentioned, more information on how to light it in the owner's manual. But well, either way, you're gonna light the first part of this row, and then it's gonna create like a domino effect. So light it, put it inside the Keveri H1. I recommend putting the wood chunks later, putting them like through the main door, because otherwise it's gonna be difficult to put the charcoal box in the smaller box with these huge chunks on top. And wait until you have like 30-40 degrees below your desired temperature, then adjust the bottom vent to 1, then adjust the chimney to 2, wait for a few minutes, and it's gonna be amazing, okay? Well, let's do that. Okay, so now it's time for trimming a little bit. I'm gonna remove, it's gonna be a lighter trimming. I'm gonna remove the thinner parts because I don't wanna burn them. I'm gonna use that for burgers probably in a few weeks. And I'm gonna remove some of the fat. I'm gonna make some tallow, that I love tallow. So that's it. Well, I'm gonna remove this piece first. I'm removing some of this fat cap just to make it a little leaner, There's some of that fat that even in 12 hours is not going to render well. Now I'm gonna flip this one, and we're gonna have to remove this piece, okay? This is no good at all. It's not gonna work well for the cooking process, and it's definitely not gonna render enough. So I'm gonna remove it. Well, as you know, the brisket on this part has a lot of very, very thin silver skin, and I know that guys in competition like to remove the most that they can. I don't think that it's necessary at home, so I'm gonna just leave it this way. I'll flip it again, and now it's time for seasoning. I know that you can do whatever you want in terms of rub. In my personal opinion, Central Texas salt and pepper half and half is my favorite way to go. So I'm here using coarse, medium size black pepper and salt. I couldn't find 16 mesh because I'm in Chile now. I would have used that if I'm in the US, but it's gonna turn out incredibly well. And it's just that, 50-50. I'm gonna use it in this hotel pan. I'm gonna mix it well and then rub it through the entire piece. Here we are, trimmed, seasoned, and the Keveri H1 in low and slow mode at 220. Perfect temperature, right what I wanted. So I'm gonna take my brisket there and I'm gonna show you my setup inside the cabin so you can see how's my approach here for the brisket, okay? So first of all, I'm gonna cook the brisket in the middle rack position, okay? In the first rack position, in the rail, I have the two smoke controller plates, the ceramic plates, covered in aluminum foil, just to keep it them clean. And on top of that, I have a water pan with a not very large amount of boiling water. And that's gonna be it. And I'm gonna use the point part, the bigger, the thickest part, I'm gonna put it to the bottom, you know, because in every oven or in every grill with a lid, you have a little more heat in the back. So that's gonna be perfect to not overcook it and have everything at a better temperature, you know. So we are ready to go. Personally, I prefer just to let it be for the first 3 hours, more or less. I don't like to be spraying every 30 minutes since the beginning. I prefer to keep a kind of like a drier cabin. So I'm gonna be back in 3 hours. See you later. It has been 3 hours and this smell is just incredible. We have been working with the pretty okay temperature. We're steady in 220, 3 hours. This has been the smoke we have been looking at it all the time. It's bluish, light, I love it. And let's see how are we going. Ooh-wee, I like it. It's the middle between, I think, mahogany and black. I like it the way it's going. For 3 hours, it's what I'm looking for. Yeah, it's time to spray it a little bit. Just remind me, at least what I like to do is not to spray it too much. It's just from time to time, 30-40 minutes, just light spray. And that's all, every 40 minutes. We have been smoking for 7 hours. The brisket is at a 170. I'm aiming at 200. We're probably hitting the stall, but I don't think it's gonna take more than 2 more hours. Like it's gonna be probably ready 9:30 maybe, and I'm pretty happy with that. Now, the reason why I wanna take it out and wrap it now is because of the color. Please take a look at this. It's beautiful. I like it, the way it's going. We have been spraying for 40 minutes since the 3rd hour, so it's not too moist, it's not too dry. I think it's gonna be perfect. We have butcher paper, and that's gonna work fine. I prefer butcher paper than foil. And I'm gonna use a little bit of tallow. Tallow, I think it's great for this stage. It adds a little bit more flavor. It's better than just using, I don't know, water and vinegar. So I'm gonna stick to tallow. So, as I mentioned, we have at least 2 hours more with the butcher paper, and then we're gonna have one more to rest. So, as I know, when I was living in the US, the brisket is always served with like a big platter with some side dishes and bread. We're gonna do the same, but more like Chilean, Patagonian style, Chile, Argentina, those kind of cultures. So it's gonna be very fun. And the first thing that we're gonna do is baked potatoes. And we're gonna do some baked potatoes with chimichurri. That's gonna be fantastic. So to do it, I just added another rack on the top grill of the Keveri H1, just on top of the brisket. You have enough space to cook a brisket, and then in the top rack to put more stuff. So I'm gonna put these potatoes on top of that. This is gonna take probably an hour, maybe a little longer. So the next step is doing the chimichurri, and the chimichurri is gonna be simple. Just a traditional version of the chimichurri, and it's gonna be 3 parts or 4 parts, depending how you like it, of parsley, fresh parsley, to 1 of dried or fresh, if you can get it, fresh oregano. And then you're gonna add 3 parts of olive oil to 1 part of red wine vinegar. Then salt, pepper, and red chilies or chili flakes to taste. And that's it. Actually, it's very simple. Oh, I'm missing the garlic, of course. Minced garlic. That's also as you're liking. You know, there are as many chimichurri recipes as Argentinian families, so no one is gonna mad if you change it a little bit. Or everyone is gonna be mad either way, so it doesn't matter. One of the really important things is that chimichurri, as well as pebre, that you will know that one right away, they're sauces. They're not dry or paste. They're sauces, so you have to see some liquid action. So good, every time. We're gonna let it rest for a while. So now we're gonna do churrascas. Churrascas is like the most beautiful bread that you can find in South America. It's a Chilean bread that you do over the coals and with animal fat, you know. And in this time, we're gonna use the same tallow as before. It's gonna be so good. So all the measurements are gonna be in the description of the video and of course in our YouTube channel. So or in our webpage. So don't worry about that. First thing is the flour. And now we're gonna add the yeast. And we're gonna mix it. Then I'm gonna add the tallow. I'm gonna add the salt. And now I'm gonna start adding water little by little. It's warm water. It will depend on the flour that you're using, how much water is gonna be. Sometimes it's like half the amount of the flour that you're using. We're gonna see how it works out. So incorporate everything until you have a dough that you can play with. And now that you can feel that the dough absorbed everything, we're just gonna move it to the table and try to knead it until it's a one dough that is not sticking to your fingers. So as you can see, now the dough is not sticking to my fingers. That's when you know it's ready. Were different times when this bread was popular. No measurements, just feeling it, and the taste is incredible. So I'm gonna let it rest for probably an hour until it doubles, and then split it into smaller doughs. So now the next sauce is pebre. Pebre, I have been talking about this on earlier episodes, and this is a very, very common Chilean sauce in many of the salads that we do. And it's very fresh. It's like a pico de gallo, but fresher, you know, because it has oil, it has more lemon, it's more citrusy. I like it a lot. So everything starts with an onion. Dice onion, small as you can. Chop the coriander as small as you can, but it doesn't have to be perfect. We mix everything together, and the first check is to see if the colors are the right ones. It can be too white or too red or too green. Just, you know when it's correct. Now we go with we call it green chile. It's actually kind of yellow, but we call it green chile in Chile. And it's awesome. You can find it as Hungarian. I've seen it in the US. It's not exactly the same, but it works just fine. We finish with some olive oil. You can use some more neutral oil. That's fine. I'm gonna add some salt, a little bit of pepper, and now we add the acid liquids. You know, it's gonna be 1 part of vinegar, red wine vinegar, and 1 part of lemon. perfect every time. Hey, 200. We reached 200 in the thickest point, so I think it's gonna be pretty well. It took 9 hours and 30 minutes. I think it's a reasonable time. I like it. It was a 15 pounds brisket, so it was a little less than I expected. And we used pretty much the whole 5 pounds. It's nearly empty. But I want to do the churrascas that I mentioned to you. So I'm gonna put 2-3 more pounds of charcoal to get to the baker mode. I'm gonna remove the smoke controller, remove the water pan, wait until I get to the desired temperature. I'm gonna rest it for an hour, and in the meanwhile, I'm gonna do the churrascas once I get to the temperature. Okay, so it's rest time. I forgot to mention, these are the potatoes, of course, and they were ready like at an hour and 30 minutes, and they're perfectly done. And we were not filming, so yeah, that's it. Now it's time for the churrascas. So here we have the churrascas, and I'm just gonna flatten them down, kind of like a pita. Not as thin as a pita, but this is perfectly fine. Woo! Nothing happened. You can also do this by hand, and it's gonna be perfectly fine. And now we're gonna toss them into the Keveri H1 in the first level. And probably they're gonna be ready in 2 minutes, 3 minutes per side. If you are in classic mode, if you are in baker, probably a minute and a half, they're gonna be ready. You have to remember that this has fat, so it's gonna caramelize faster, okay? We're ready, let's go to the oven. So for the potatoes with chimichurri, we have the potato, and I'm gonna dice it and then mix it with a little bit of mayonnaise and then chimichurri. I'm gonna add a little bit of salt and pepper. So good. We're gonna open this brisket, see how it's going, see how it is actually. Look at that. Look at that color. That's the perfect bark, like a meteorite. Look at this. It's looking fantastic. At least the bark, it's fantastic. Juicy. Okay, so now the moment of truth. This is just incredible. Gets me every time, you know, it's fatty, it's not chewy, it's tender, moist. It's incredible. The bark is, I think, the best part. It's really, really nice. So I think it's time to plate our barbecue, South American Chilean barbecue platter. Okay. I don't know about you, but this to me looks incredible. All the brisket, 12 hours, well, actually 9.5, but while waiting and everything. The potatoes with chimichurri, pebre, churrasca, wood-fired churrascas, chimichurri, the beans. This is just incredible. Well, if you like this kind of content and you support Keveri, just follow us on Instagram, all our social media, go to our YouTube channel, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and keep enjoying how to improve your barbecue and wood fire skills and our website and enjoy our products. Bye and see you in the next one.